Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2019 Mazda CX-5. I'm going to walk through how to install the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness. If you're adding a hitch on your vehicle and you ever plan on towing a trailer, wiring is what you're going to need in order to get the lights to function on the trailer. The installation for the wiring kit for this vehicle is very simple. It's going to plug in behind each taillight on the inside of the vehicle. 4-pole is going to live inside of the vehicle, so when you're not using it, it stays tucked in and out of the way. Right underneath our panel here is where our wiring is. When we want to use it, simply pull it out, get it hooked to our trailer, and make sure you're running over the rubber seal, staying away from anywhere that the hatch connects there, and we can close it right on top. Now you may be thinking to yourself, is that going to damage the wiring being closed in the door? And the answer is no. This wire is designed to live inside of the vehicle and to be able to run through there without getting damaged. Wiring is going to give you all of your proper lighting functions when pulling a trailer. Your brake lights, your running lights, and your turn signals. It's going to have a converter box. It's going to live inside the vehicle, and what it does is it protects the factory wiring from any backfeed. For instance, if your trailer has a short in it, typically a short will backfeed to the vehicle. That box will stop that short from getting to the factory wiring on the vehicle, so it don't cause any other damage. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's walk you through how to get it installed. We need to remove all of our foam from beside our spare tire. We're going to come back to our threshold. We're going to remove the 2 push pin fasteners. You're going to have one on each side. We're going to start on one end. We're just going to pull out and up and work our way to the opposite side. Remove it and set it aside. Once you have it removed, on each side, you're going to have a push pin fastener. Pry up the center, remove the fastener. Next, on each side of the vehicle, we're going to come right here. We're going to pop this cap out. 10mm socket. We're going to remove the nut and the tie down. Once we get that one removed, we're going to come right up here and we're going to remove this one. And we're going to come up to our handle on each side. There's a little panel right back here. We need to get this popped out. Phillips screwdriver. We need to remove the screw. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Next, you need to make sure you remove your shade. And you're going to have a Phillips head screw here, and then one on the opposite side. You're going to remove both of them. Next, on our driver's side and passenger side, we need to pull out this panel. You're going to have some alignment tabs here. You want to make sure when you pull this out, you're not going to damage those or where they hook into on the panel, or it's not going to hold it in. It's a good idea to have a trim panel tool, and you're going to slide it up back behind it. You're going to get right on that tab, and you're just going to start prying out. That'll pull the pin out of the hole and leave it attached to the panel itself. We're just going to work our way up to the top. We're going to take our wiring harness, the one with the yellow wire. We're going to come back behind this panel, and the wire that's going up into our taillight, it has a plug on it right here. We're going to separate these 2 plugs, and we're going to put these 2 in line. And then we're just going to match them. You're going to have a big bundle of black wire that comes in your kit. We're going to strip back one end. add on a butt connector. We're going to add it onto the black wire coming off our converter box. This wire we need to get outside so we can go up to the engine compartment and attach it to the battery. You look right down here, you have two plugs. This wiring goes out, and this plug, if we want to use it, also goes out. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one. I'm just going to put a hole right in the center of this plug here. I'll just use a drill bit, and then I can feed my wire right down through it. Then we need to mount our converter box. You're going to get some two-sided tape in your kit. We're going to stick it on our box. I think where I'm going to stick it, we can stick it on the floor here, or we can stick it right back on this back panel. I think I'm going to put it right back here. And we need to ground our white wire. Your kit's going to come with a cell tapper. I like to try to find a factory bolt. You look right here, there's actually a bolt here that we can take off. That is a ground. 10mm socket. We'll remove it, and we just add on our white wire. And then reinstall it and tighten it back down. We're going to take our green wire that's going over to our passenger side, and we're going to zip tie it right to this factory wiring that runs right across the back of the vehicle. Your kit is going to come with a few zip ties to get that done. Plugs are going to be the same on our passenger side. Just going to disconnect the one coming out of the light and then match your plugs back together. We'll route our 4-pole over to the center of the vehicle, and then we can put our panels back in place. Next, we need to run the power wire up to the front of the vehicle, up into the engine compartment next to the battery. Let me get it done real quick and I'll show you how I did it. Now when running your line, you want to make sure you stay away from anything hot or moving. I went over the top of this bracket here, all the way over the top of my suspension. You'll notice we have our sway bar here with our end link. I'm going to make sure you go behind this factory line on the driver's side. That way it keeps it away from that, because that will move. I'm all the way over the top, going behind this hose and this hose, or over the top of it, right along the outside edge of this panel and across the front. You're going to have some little fasteners and also some 10mm head bolts. Remove those, and you can take that line, pull this down, and you can tuck your line up inside of there. That'll keep it protected. Went all the way down. Once I got to here, again, you're going to have a few pushman fasteners here and a couple more 10mm head bolts. Pull this front side down and feed your wire across. There's some hard lines right here that we're going to follow up to the engine compartment. Now I already have a pull wire that I pulled down, or I sent down before I got the vehicle up in the air. And it's just an airline tube. Really, you can put anything down, anything that has some weight to it or some rigidity, and you can just tape it to it, and then use that to pull your wire up to the top. Double check down there to make sure it's not caught on anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it right across, and I'm going to zip tie it right to this line, and I can add my fuse holder over to the positive side. You're going to get your fuse holder, pull off each end. We're going to add a ring terminal on one end. Your kit's going to come with a butt connector. I recommend exchanging it for heat shrink because it is going to be outside the vehicle, and the heat shrink will protect the connection from corrosion. Now we're going to cut our wire, black wire, down to size. We're going to strip back the end, and then add it into our butt connector. We'll take our heat source and shrink that up. This end we're going to connect to the positive side of the battery. When you do that, make sure the fuse is not in the holder until after you get the connection tightened down on it. Next, take a 10mm socket. We're going to loosen this nut. These are not made to come off all the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ring terminal and cut a little notch out of it like that, or a space out of it. I'm going to feed it right behind it, and then we're going to tighten the nut back down. Once you get it connected, go ahead and add your fuse. Now we're going to test our wiring out using part number I26. Left turn, right turn, running lights, brake lights. Once you've tested it out, you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at and installation on the Curt custom vehicle wiring harness on a 2019 Mazda CX-5.